Good morning. Welcome to Peace Out, where we're learning together to trust God, right? We're learning together to let God's peace reign in our hearts. That's the whole thing, right? It's a process. There's not a flip to switch. There's not a switch to flip. There's not a button to push that just boom, we've got peace. Matter of fact, I'm having one of those kind of mornings. I'm learning right now as I'm sharing this video with you to peace out because I've had technical issues out the wazoo this morning. So surprise, here I am again. I refused to go down without a fight, right? So this is about my fourth time to try to make this video this morning. So I'm recording it on Zoom now, and YouTubers, you get this one first. How about that? So usually Facebook gets it first, and then I put that one over on YouTube. But this one's going to you first, YouTube. So thank you, YouTubers, for watching. Thank you, Facebookers, for watching. Is that even a word? Anyway, we're going to get this done today. I'm talking about one of my favorite stories in the Bible today. It's in John chapter 9. And it seems unrelated to peace, but really nothing is unrelated to peace, right? Everything because the kingdom of God is righteousness, peace, and joy. So those three things should be interwoven in everything we study, everything we accomplish in the kingdom, everything we accomplish in our personal spiritual lives. Righteousness, peace, and joy are all those interwoven fibers, right? So everything we talk about is going to have those elements in it because that's what is, all of those are a part of the kingdom of God, right? And the kingdom of God is in us. So I'm looking at this story of a blind guy, and we're talking in John chapter 9 again. And it says he was blind from birth. The disciples even asked, did he sin? How could he have sinned if he was blind from birth? But did he sin, or did his parents sin? And that's why he's blind. And Jesus said, neither one. I'm going to show you the glory of God in this situation. And that's one of the cool things about God is no matter what our situation, we can still experience his glory. We can still experience that peace. We can still experience who he is. He doesn't say, oh, you're blind, I'm not going to talk to you, or you're deaf, or you're spiritually blind or spiritually deaf. Now, what turned out here is this guy was physically blind, but the Pharisees in this story were spiritually blind. And I'll take physical blindness over spiritual blindness any day, right? Because nothing is off the charts if you can see spiritually, even if you don't have your natural sight, right? And so here he was, Jesus says, look, let me just show you how this is going to work. And he got some dirt, spit in it. That's nasty. Made like a mud and put it on the blind guy's eyes. Now, remember, the guy has been blind since birth, so he doesn't see Jesus, right? He can't see him. He makes some mud, puts it on his eyes, and says, go wash in the pool of Siloam. And the blind man went, probably had to be led, or, he probably knew his way around. But it's an amazing, I've known several people who had sight, were disabled as far as their, visual elements go, and they can get around. It's amazing how they learn to navigate, and how their other senses take over, right? When one is incapacitated in some way. And, they find their way around their house, and it's just amazing to watch someone overcome that and still just have a life, right? So I don't know if he was led there or not, but he got to the pool of Siloam and he washed, and then he could see. Wouldn't that be a great moment? Too bad they didn't have live Facebook Live or TikTok or Snapchat. Somebody could have caught it on video. It would have gone viral. He washes this nasty mud off his eyes, and he came up and could see. Wouldn't that be a beautiful moment to capture? The man's life is changed forever in that moment, right? And so he goes back and he goes, look, I could see. And the Pharisees got mad. The religious people got mad. And they said, how did he heal you on the Sabbath day? Who cares what day it was? The dude was blind and now he can see, right? And so they began drilling him. Who was it? Did you see him? And he's like, I didn't see him. I was blind until after he healed me. And I haven't, he didn't see him till later. He goes and talks with Jesus later. But he's like, I don't know. All I know is I was blind and now I could see. And they pulled his parents in and they said, is this your son? Was he blind? And they're like, it's our son. He was blind and now he can see, but he's a grown man. So just ask him, because they feared being kicked out of the synagogue. They valued and it's not wrong to value your religious heritage, and those things like that, and protect it and have your own belief system, right? You want to protect it, but they were so afraid that they would lose their religious standing in the synagogue that they said, "Go talk to him. We don't have anything more to say." Their son just got his sight back, and they don't have anything else to say. I think that's kind of sad, right? So the Pharisees just keep drilling him. What? Who was he? Where was he? What were you doing? Were you blind? And now and you're not blind now. And finally he said, "Why are you asking me all these questions? I don't know anything except that I was blind and now I see. Do you want to follow Jesus? Do you want to be his disciples?" And of course, then they got mad, and then they kicked him out of the synagogue and said, "Get out." The dude just got a miracle. And sometimes we can get caught in mindsets that blind us from the miracles among us. And sometimes when we're in situations, having peace is a miracle. For me, it is, right? It may not be that big a deal for you, but sometimes having that peace is a miracle. Knowing that his grace has me is miraculous sometimes, because we have to navigate some crazy things in life. But they all miss the miracle here, except the blind guy that's no longer blind, right? And it's kind of like the 11 disciples sitting in the boat. They missed the miracle because why didn't they jump out of the boat as soon as I don't know, I wasn't there, but I think that as soon as Peter started walking, I'd have gone off the side of the boat going, "Let's go, come on, just go walking. But they sat there and didn't experience the miracle because they didn't get out of the boat. Right. And so many of the Pharisees were missing the whole point. His parents even missed the whole point because of their religious thinking. And sometimes we can miss it. Now, here's the thing. People don't always understand why you got peace in the middle of the storm. People don't, excuse me, people don't always understand why you lean on his grace and understand. And maybe you just are overcome with emotions because you realize, man, God's got me. Right? Maybe people don't get it, that maybe it's because they're not in that storm with you. Maybe they're just watching from a distance, or maybe they just don't get, maybe they have their own defense mechanisms or survival mechanisms that don't incorporate the grace and mercy of God. How does that work? Right? And they're not going to get it why you've got peace. They didn't get that he was blind. They missed the whole point, that the dude was blind and now he can see. The true blind people in this story are the Pharisees, because they refused to see what God was doing among them. Jesus was walking among them, and he was messing up their religious philosophies, and he was messing up their religious theology, and he didn't fit into their religious order, and they wanted him dead, and they're going to get him dead eventually. But in the meantime, this blind dude got his sight. And see, right in the middle of hard circumstances, in the middle of being crushed in the crucible of life, in the middle of difficulties, struggles, challenges, we can still have God's peace, and everybody ain't gonna get it. And what's worse is some people are going to be mad because you got it. They're almost mad because you got peace, and you're not supposed to have peace. That's why we started this whole devotional, was because we're going to peace out in the middle of a pandemic, right? It was a pandemic, and none of us knew what to do. And that's why I was like, okay, we're getting a lot of information, and I'm seeing the world go crazy, and there's still peace here. There's still grace here. There's still mercy here. If we all die, we still have the grace of God, right? And we'll be with him. We can't lose this battle. Did that mean it was easy? No, we did a lot of emotional navigation during that time, right? But in the middle of it, we discovered we can still have God's peace. People aren't always going to get it. You know what? It's okay, because you got it. It's okay the Pharisees didn't get it. The blind guy can see again. It's okay his parents were, check us out because we're not real sure. Just take us out of the equation because we don't want to lose anything here. It's okay. He got his sight back. And it doesn't matter if you've got family members that are not supportive. It doesn't matter if you don't have a good close circle of friends, what do we call it now? A support group, or whatever. God's got you. And you can still see. You can see that when he gives you peace. You can see that his grace is more than sufficient for anything you face today. You can see his provision. You can see his handiwork in all the areas of your life. It's okay if they don't get it, because you got it, right? It's okay. Now we're not going to go around condemning people and saying, "What's wrong with you? You ain't got his peace." Well, then you ain't got no peace. I promise that peace will slip right on out, right? We focus on those sort of things. But we can say we see. We can say we have his grace. We can say we have his mercy. We can say he undergirds us with all of what he is. And we can just rest in that and experience that peace in our hearts and our minds because he is the Prince of Peace. We understand we're righteous not by anything we did except believing in him, right? Choosing to accept that. We have the righteousness of God, right? And I don't understand that because I know what a mess I am. But and nobody else maybe see it either. That's okay. It's still there. The blind guys even, I don't know. All I know is I was blind and now I see. I don't know. All I know is I was in turmoil and I have peace. Storm's still there. The boat's still there. The same people are still in my life. It's still crazy out there. But all of a sudden I have peace. Isn't that an amazing thing about God? Isn't we can trust him, and that's so an amazing thing about our God. Nobody has to get it, but you get it. That's why you can peace out. Peace out. Try this again tomorrow. Have a great day.